Welcome back to the channel. So after last week's escapades at the top of Mount Davis, I thought I would give you a proper introduction to its history. Here's a view of Mount Davis from the western or southwestern side, and below on the bottom right hand corner you see a Hong Kong style cemetery. That's where my ancestors are buried, and then right across the road is Queen Mary Hospital, where I was born. So you could say Port Phillip for me is a one-stop shop. Mount Davis is situated on the very western tip of Hong Kong Island, at the head of the frog if you like. Mount Davis was named after Sir John Francis Davis, who was the second governor of Hong Kong from 1844 to 1848. As you can see, this was the city boundary in 1903, and over there, the other side of those trees would be Mount Davis, and apparently there's another marker over there which I'll show you more clearly on a map. Circled in the map is apparently the other milestone. Now, I'm not going to go trekking through the jungle looking for that one. I've never seen it. If we draw a straight line from that apparent milestone to where I'm standing, and I'll show you on the map here, you can get an idea of where the city limits were. So I was just down there by the old city boundary, and here is a better view of Mount Davis without the trees in the way. There you go. Mount Davis Battery was the headquarters of the Western Fire Command during the Second World War. And to give it some context, let's wind the clock back to the morning of 8th of December 1941. That was when the Battle of Hong Kong began. Pearl Harbor started on the 7th of December, but if you take into account the time zone difference, it was actually the very same morning, with Pearl Harbor being attacked 6 hours before Hong Kong. Forget it. I'm at the Chicago booth. This is 5 minutes away from my home, along Victoria Road. Now, it's got a spectacular view, as you'll see, but actually it'd be even nicer in the evening, as this is facing the west, and incredible sunsets. Now, there is a dark secret to this place. You see this newly built complex, very nice, but the older ones, the whitewashed buildings you see there, which has been incorporated into this compound, that used to be a detention center. So I've heard in the 60s, some horror stories if you like. Directly in front of us is Cheung Chau. I think I've said earlier that that's where we'll be heading soon. It's one of my favorite outer lying islands. To the west over there, that's Llama Island, and then to the further east, that's actually Lantau Island. And if you look directly in front, over the peak, that's where our new airport is, and towards more to this direction, that's where Disneyland is, and at night time you'll be able to see the fireworks from here. Below us is battery number 1 of Mount Davis Coastal Defense, whatever you want to call it. It's relatively small, as I'll show you later on. Higher up in the mountain, those are significantly larger. Now, as you see here, there are a lot of trees, but during the Second World War, those trees I'm sure would not have been there, and this position here will be quite exposed to enemy fire. So what we'll do is that we're going to walk over there towards the left-hand side, if you like. Down by right by the shore, there's a little pavilion, and so literally it's about I don't know, 50 meters to the left. And then over to the right hand side there's a swimming shed. In my mind the swimming shed is far more charming. It's organically built, shall we say, by swimming enthusiasts. You'll see what I mean later. It's really like a homemade jetty and shed, literally a shed. So we'll go over there in a minute. So we've walked down some flight of stairs and we're nearing the pavilion. You can see the sea in front, Frank. Whew. Well, there you go. Gorgeous sea view. So we're going to head towards the east, around to our right, and go to the swimming shed. Okay, see you in a bit. So here's the entrance to the swimming shed. You see the sign above. It says words to the effect Western District Residents Health Club, if you like, and then Kam Chung swimming shed. So we're now heading down to the watershed or swimming shed. As you'll see, it's kind of similar. The view is only like not even 400 meters around the coast from where we were, but I'm sure you would agree with me when you see it. It has a totally different feel. Okay, we'll be there in 2 minutes. Here we go. This is the upper portion of the swimming shed. As you can see, it's made from corrugated iron. Oh, there's even a washing machine here. So I didn't notice that before. Now, this place used to be a bit of a secret, if you ask me. 20 years or so ago, when my kids were little, we used to be able to come here on a Sunday afternoon and have the entire pier to ourselves. Pretty much like it is now, actually. Bearing in mind today is a Thursday morning, so I wasn't expecting any tourists or Instagrammers. So yeah, so basically ever since Instagram became popular, this secret location has been revealed to the world. And if you come here on a Sunday afternoon towards sunset, when the sun is out there in front of us, you've got probably an hour of queuing on this jetty and up the stairs all the way up there. People queuing to get a selfie or wedding photos or otherwise. Which, well, yeah, again, look, you can't help this to yourself, right? It should be enjoyed by everybody. So let's take a walk down to the pier. I do not plan on swimming today. Oh, for some reason it says locked. I don't know why, but maybe it's unsafe since the typhoon. But never mind. I'm not going to go and jump over. Whoops, a bit slippery here. Yeah, so bear in mind, like just over a week ago we had torrential rain. I mean, like it just 500 millimeters of rain within 24 hours, and over 150 within 1 hour in certain places. So pretty crazy. So I don't know if you can see, but where the ship is coming round in front of us, beyond that, that's Chiang Bridge, or parts of the beginning of Chiang Bridge, which takes us to Lantau Island, and then heading towards west, to our left would be where the boats, hydrofoils, jet foils, catamarans, etc. would head towards Macau, which is about 40 nautical miles away, about an hour fast boat trip. I hope you agree this is a pretty pleasant spot. They say this structure sadly today may be a little bit wonky. I'm not going to try my luck. So let me take you to the up towards Mount Davis. I've been up there on the bike already, but I'm going to show you more close up the batteries. Okay, see you in a bit. So I just bumped into the caretaker of the watershed, or sorry, what I call it watershed, swimming shed, and he said, no, this jetty is not broken. Sadly, what happened was about 6 months ago, somebody drowned off here. So very sorry, and I think it's precaution to people to be careful around here. So anyway, since it's not broken, I will take a hike to the end. Wouldn't you agree? This is just absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. In fact, when I retire, I think I will come down here for a morning swim every morning. Why not? It's slippery down here. Let's see. Being extra careful, not as bouncy as I used to be. There's the view back. Actually, I'm not sure why I'm swiveling the camera, because it does take a very wide angle view. So further around the corner from here, along the coast, I would say 5 kilometers from here, would already be the central business district. And this, as you probably see earlier in my video, this is beyond the city limits set in 1903. Anyway, it is a very nice part of Hong Kong. I think underrated. But then this district is like kind of popular, Mount Davis. I'm a homeboy here, so of course I'm going to be biased. Oh, where did that crab go? You see it? Oh, and these, they call them sea cockroaches. And we're at the bottom of Mount Davis. So in a while we're going to go up that path all the way to the top, or nearly to the top. So this mountain's about 350 meters tall. I think I mentioned in an earlier video, as kids, my brother and I and our cousins, 5 boys, used to come up here and totally mess around. Quite a nice cycle route. I guess great for cardio, and importantly there's not really any cars on this road. I used to come up quite a lot in the morning. Takes about 10 or 12 minutes to get to the top on a bicycle. Get a lot of retired granddads and grandmas. They like to hike up this path. Can be a little bit dodgy, if you're coming down the hill fast, because they don't, well, no matter what you do, they don't really hear you. Might have a bell, a whistle, you name it, but they just still hang around. So yeah, instead of cars you got humans. Sort of few wild boars up here, which is nice. At least I think it's nice. I think of them quite cute, really. Maybe 1 or 2 porcupines, but I haven't seen one since I was a kid. But then on the reverse, I never used to see any wild boars when I was a kid. It's only literally in the last, I don't know, 3-4 years that the wild boars have just become quite prevalent in this part of the town. And I say town because really we're only, I think as I said, mentioned. Okay, here's one of the lower buttresses, fortress, whatever you call it, where the cannons used to be nestled inside, pointing out towards the sea. So we're about halfway up Mount Davis path, and we've come to battery number 2. Now apparently there are 5 on this mountain. See, it's quite a robust concrete structure, and according to this sign here, it says this is one of 5 transversible 9.2 inch guns they used to have, which weighed anywhere between 22 to 24 tons, with a length of about 10 meters. That's a pretty damn big gun. Maybe you can see in the photo, which I'll try to zoom in later. You see they are pretty mean looking guns. I'll walk around the buttress, or the battery if you like, and give you an idea of the scale. It's a lot bigger than the one we saw earlier, the number 1. That was kind of closer to the shore. So today it resembles more like a giant flower pot than anything else, and through the trees there, that will be the ocean where the guns will be aimed. Now, as I mentioned many times, during the old days, the 40s, 30s, 40s if you like, Hong Kong was a lot more barren. I mean, the trees were not this tall. And I went up to Pinewood Battery, which is the highest in terms of height battery in Hong Kong. That's kind of behind us. It explained the reason why then was because locals used to come up to the mountains to chop wood, firewood, for cooking, etc. So the batteries had a serious camouflage problem. You can spot them with a naked eye from Kowloon and basically bomb the hell out of them. Of course, today you think, what's the problem? You know, you can barely see this place. But I guess times have changed. So if we walk around, further around, there is actually a fairly nice, if you like, cross-country path coming up from below there. A bit of it is quite steep, and they've very kindly put a rope there to pull yourself up. So if you enjoy a bit more of a challenging Sunday hike, that's not a bad way to come up. There's a little staircase which we passed on the way up here on the motorbike, which can go up there and kind of do a shortcut through the forest. Yeah, these are, I guess, broken parts of the old a magazine, whatever you want to call it, huts. It's certainly not, it's not natural rock. The biggest one is at the top, and there's like ammunition storage, dormitories I suppose. Not so bad this time of the year. In this neck of the woods, March or April, my goodness, it'd be so humid. It's just absolutely disgusting. But then again, during the war, this may have been a lot less wooded. And if you look at the old photos of Hong Kong, it does look like a barren rock. So this is battery number 3. I think these are my favourite, really. I don't know why, as a kid growing up here, this one never attracted my attention. So you can imagine the movie, those of you old enough to remember the movie Stand By Me, a group of kids around 10, 11, 12 years old were following a railway track looking for a dead body. Well, there wasn't any dead bodies here, trust me. But it has that sense of adventure as a child coming up here. And today, as we go up the top, a lot of people, actually grown-ups if you like, come up here and play war games. So I guess the tradition carries on. So behind us here is the control post, if you like, for the gun behind us. And reading the caption here, it talks about the same gun, 9.2 inch. And interestingly, the shells were 172 kilos each. I mean, you can see why there are so many people required to man the gun. And it says it has the ability to penetrate 5 inch of armor plating at 500 meters. That's pretty serious. I don't know why, I've never really ventured into this one. I guess the access is, yeah, not as obvious, but we'll give it a miss. I'll take you up to probably battery number 4, which is my favorite, right at the top. And there's also number 5 too, which again is getting a bit out of the way, but I'll show you anyway. There's a hill here. The first part I can do on a bicycle, and probably on this bike too, but the second part, after it flattens out, is really steep. So on a bicycle, as you will see, there are some pretty chunky holes dotted on the slope up towards the top of the buttress for battery 4 and 5. Now I can imagine these were used to winch the cannons as well as the shells up to the top. I mean, this slope is very steep. So this is the second part of the slope. You can see there's another hook in the ground for hauling the shells and so on. This is a whopping 27 degrees from the horizontal. So I talked about earlier how the heavy loads were winched up, or even today you can see this chap here and his colleagues are winching up or winching down a whole bunch of stuff they found up the top of the old barracks. It is super steep. Here is buttress or battery number 4. This would be my favorite. As a kid, I used to come up here with my cousins, and my brother. 5 of us, we just caused havoc up here. It was a lot of fun, just bumming around, I suppose. I dare say this is the largest one. In the old days, you'll never have any of those fenced off. It's your health and safety around the world, I guess. And again, you can't see the sea view from here, right? The trees have all grown. But excuse my heavy breathing. It's a steep hike up that hill. And look at the size of the, if you can see in the ground, look at the size of those bolts holding the cannons down. They are big. Now over there's a field. I'll walk over there now and show you. So we're at the top. I talked about this field. People come up here to play war games for obvious reasons. You got the battery over there to our right. That was the one we just saw, number 4. People also camp up here. But to be quite frank, I've grown up here all my life. I never liked Mount Davis. It's got some creepiness to it. I don't know what it is, call it feng shui. I just feel it in my bones. It's just something is not quite right. Even on a bright day like this, I just feel sense there's something bad happened here. And you can imagine during the Second World War, when the Japanese were bombing the daylights out of this mountain, it wasn't pleasant.